If you clicked on this video, you're probably a little stressed about college applications and what the next steps are in your college essay. But don't worry, it's not actually that hard to make your college essay stand out amongst the rest of them. Hi, my name is Wiley. I work with Athena AI, and in today's video, we're going to be going over some tips and tricks on how you can improve your college essay. Let's go. Our first tip is to be authentic. It really can't be stressed enough. I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but I can't stress it enough that you need to be yourself when you write. Maybe your older sibling got into a good school, or maybe your parents did, or grandparents, and you want to copy their college essay layout. That could work, and you could get in, but it's not going to be your own voice, and college admissions officers are going to know that as soon as they read your essay. When you're trying to force a voice, it's very obvious. I also want to stress that you reflect and not recount. Ask yourself, am I telling the admissions officers what happened in the story, or am I telling them what I learned? For example, instead of saying, I saw a child drop their ice cream, so I bought them a new one, try saying, I saw a child drop their ice cream, which reminded me of when I was younger, or reminded me of what a parent said once, so this is why I bought them an ice cream. And after I bought them an ice cream, this is their reaction, and this is what I learned. I know that was a very vague example, but I'm hoping you get the point that you need to broaden your scope on this essay, and you need to tell the admissions officers what you learned from it instead of what just happened. Maybe you're going through your essay, and you notice that you just gave a step-by-step account of why you helped someone, or how you won a game, or what your teammate that inspired you did. But why did they inspire you? What did your parents say, and how did it make you feel? How did you help someone, and what was their reaction, and what did you gain from that? Tip number 2 is to start and end your essay with a kicker. By starting your essay with an emotional recount of a story or a thoughtful quote, you're helping to hook the reader to stay for the rest of the piece. Think of one of your high school English classes where you had to write a thesis and a conclusion. The conclusion connects back to the thesis. So once you've got a good intro down, make sure you focus that on your ending too, and put a good 1 or 2 sentences into driving the point home. Good way to test if you've done this is to ask yourself, why should the reader care about what I'm saying? And if your piece answers this question, you did a good job. You could also test this by giving your paper to a friend, a parent, a teacher, whoever, and having them read it with no prior context from you. And if they get the message on the first try, you did a great job. But if it's a little foggy or a little confusing, maybe you need to go back and make some edits. My next tip is to be unique. I almost can't stress this as much as the first one, to be authentic. Being unique is so important to having that bump up and standing out amongst the rest of the essays. The college admissions officers are reading so many essays, and all of them are going to be normal structure essays that are just like blah blah blah, I learned this, blah 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 blah, right? And some of them are probably going to be really good, but the ones that look a little different, or maybe the ones that start off with a quote or maybe a little poem. I even saw someone do a recipe once where all of the ingredients were just different aspects of themselves, and then at the bottom, on the recipe where it's like, combine the salt and the sugar and the flour and blah, 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 blah. But they wrote about how all of these different ingredients of their life combine to make them who they are. They got into their school of choice, by the way. You have 650 words, and you can structure them however you'd like. For instance, you could also be a little funny, but just keep in mind that not every single admissions officer is going to share your sense of humor. Oh, hello. It's my roommate. Sorry, this is like the 4th time that I've talked about being authentic in this video, but I really can't stress it enough. Be unique as you want, but make sure that you stay true to yourself and you stay authentic. Tip number 4, our second to last tip, is to seek solid feedback. You want to go to a trusted teacher or a friend or a parent who you know is going to give you honest, down to the bone feedback. This part of your essay isn't good, this part needs revisions, this part is great, but this part needs revisions too. You don't want someone that's gonna read over your essay and say, oh yeah, this is great, all this is really good. You want someone who's gonna go hardcore and look at your essay for grammatical errors, for structural errors, literally for anything, because college admissions officers will pick up on that super quickly. In case you don't know who to go to, you can always use Athena AI. And yes, this is a little plug for Athena, but just watch it. I promise you Athena is the most spectacular thing ever, okay? Let's go. Athena AI, unlike other AI platforms who promise to give you good advice on your college essays, actually gives you advice for the school you're applying to. So what they have is they have one general area for your college essay, and the AI will give it a grade, a letter grade, like an A-, B+, whatever. Maybe you got an F, somehow you failed the essay. I mean, you'd have to write it really poorly if you got that. But it'll also give you a bunch of recommendations, requirements that you need, different areas that you can improve. And if that gets too overwhelming, you scroll all the way down to the bottom and there are like 4 or 5 bullet points. That's just like a short 1 sentence. Here's how you can improve in this area. Here's how you can improve in this area, etc. Super easy to understand. On top of just the general area for college essays, you can also grade your supplements per each specific college. So let's say you're applying to Harvard. You can actually click on Harvard and have the AI grade your supplemental based off of a bunch of supplementals that Athena AI has collected from Harvard students, current Harvard students, that you can compare your work to to not take advantage of this, to me, like as a freshman in college right now, I wish I had this back then. I mean, I got into American University. I love it here, but it's no Ivy League. And if I had Athena back then, like I could literally write my supplementals exactly like they did at Harvard. It starts at $15 a month. It goes all the way up to $90 if you want like the pro package. Compared to a college admissions like counselor in real life, it's super cheap. It's half the price and if not less than a college admissions officer in real life. So if you want to check it out, go hit the link in the bio. It'll be there. Tip number 5, and this one is super basic, but we see this a lot. Solid writing. You can use Grammarly. You can use a teacher. You can use anybody to go over grammatical mistakes, structural mistakes, anything. However, just be warned that if you use too many people to look over your writing, it might start to sound like not your voice, right? And so just going back to being authentic again, you really want to make sure that you stay true to yourself and true to your own writing. Because if you have a teacher look over it, maybe they change a couple sentences, then your mom looks over it, maybe she changes a couple more sentences, and then maybe an older sibling or a friend, and they change a couple more sentences, and then you realize that half of your essay is not actually your writing anymore, or it just doesn't sound like you, or it's not how you would structure it. So just make sure that you stay true to yourself over the whole essay, and that's really our biggest point to get through. Try to think of a time in your life that has genuinely impacted you on an emotional level, right? Not just a physical level like, oh, I broke my leg and then I learned to be more careful. Great. How did that impact you up here? Well, guys, that's just a quick few tips and tricks on how to write your college essay a little bit better than before. Okay, leave any comments you have in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one.